My best friend's brother was out of the army. I heard he'd been injured on a mission. Lost the ability to have kids. My friend Carol was practically in mourning. I'm child-free by choice and now my brother's shooting blanks. It wailed. It's like our family name. Finley is at its fin, the end of the line. We're finished. A few days later. I finally met this legendary tough-as-nails brother of hers. And my world tilted on its axis. He looked exactly like my daughter's father. The man I'd slept with years ago. Carol was sobbing dramatically into her beer bottle at a barbecue joint. I was even planning on setting you two up when he got back. She slurred. Nelly could have been my honest-to-God niece. The man who can't, you know. He's basically a dud and you're my best friend. I couldn't do that to you. As she spoke, her phone buzzed on the table. Carol was already passed out. Her head on the sticky table. Completely oblivious. I hesitated. But when the insistent ringing started up for the third time, I picked it up for her. Mom says. If you're not dead, get your ass home. The voice was deep, rough around the edges and strangely pleasant. I pinched my earlobe, which had suddenly gone hot. Hello, this is a friend of Carol's. We're at a grill house. Would you be able to come and pick her up? There was no way. Carol was getting home under her own power tonight. And I'd had a few drinks myself. A ride would be a lifesaver. Before the man on the other end could respond, Carol's head shot up from the table as if she'd been resurrected. Oh, my poor brother. She howled. Spent his youth at the academy. Got to be an old man and he's probably still a virgin. And now no one's ever going to want him. The other end of the line went unnervingly silent. She's had a lot to drink. Address number 8 South Ring Road. The line went dead. Soon. A black SUV pulled up and a tall man got out. He wore a rugged work jacket. His frame defined by broad shoulders and long legs. Couldn't see his face in the dim light. Only a sharp, imposing silhouette. At that exact moment, a video call came through on my phone. Is that Nelly? Carol mumbled. Squinting at my screen, calling so late. I hope everything's okay. You should take it. My brother's here. She waved a floppy hand at the approaching figure. A knot of parental anxiety tightened in my stomach. Without a proper greeting for the man. I just waited for him to get closer. Before stepping aside to answer the call. Nelly's tiny, beaming face immediately filled the screen. Mommy. Her cheerful smile was an instant relief. Hey, sweetie. Why are you still awake? I missed you. In the background, I could hear my mom's voice. I took her down to the creek to catch crawfish today. And she's been wired ever since. Refused to sleep until she talked to you. You're still out just catching up with Carol. My mom had taken Nelly to visit our old family home for a few days. Giving me a rare bit of quiet. Is Auntie Carol there? Nelly's face squished against the camera again. Mommy, I want to talk to Auntie Carol. I glanced back towards the restaurant entrance. Carol had been hoisted over the tall man's shoulder. Like a sack of potatoes and was being unceremoniously dumped into the passenger seat of the SUV. That's right, dumped. The corner of my mouth twitched. He really was a man of action. Having Nelly was an accident. 4 years ago, I just gone through a bad breakup. I was at a bar trying to drown my sorrows when I met him. He was a paradox of smoldering intensity and buttoned-up restraint. Every breath he took seemed to land squarely on every one of my weak spots. Fueled by liquid courage, I took him home. To my surprise, we were perfectly in sync. Even now, I can remember the shiver that went through me when his calloused hands brushed against my skin. At the time, I thought maybe this could be the start of something real. But when I woke up the next morning, he was taking a phone call. His expression suddenly grim and serious. Copy that, I'm on my way. He hung up and was on his feet in an instant. Pulling on his clothes, scribbled a string of numbers on a notepad. I have an emergency deployment. You can reach me at this number. And then he was gone. I never even learned his name. I assumed that was the end of it. But a month later, I found out I was pregnant. With no other choice, I tried the number he'd left again and again. No one ever answered. It dawned on me then that I'd been played. He wasn't interested. The emergency was just an excuse to leave. And the number was a fake to get rid of me without a scene. For health reasons, I couldn't terminate the pregnancy. So I had the baby. The next morning, a hungover Carol called me to complain. My brother is so rough. He bruised my arm getting me out of the car. I'm telling you, Ava. You can't ever date a guy like that. He's got violent tendencies. Her rant was cut short by a low warning voice in the background. Carol, she went silent immediately. Then a new sycophantic tone took over. Brew, are you free this afternoon? My friend needs help moving some boxes. No. Perfect. Carol said to me, completely ignoring his response. I found you some free labor for this afternoon. He'll help you move your stuff. It's fine. I can handle it. He's practically family. Don't be shy. He's unemployed and just sitting around the house all day. Anyway. I thought she was joking. But that afternoon she showed up at my shop. And trailing behind her was a tall, familiar man. I own a women's lingerie boutique in the city. I've been running it for years and business is good. I've never hired any staff. Just handle everything myself. Carol helps out sometimes when I get swamped. I was in the middle of taking inventory when I heard arguing outside. The boxes you want me to move are for a lingerie store. What's wrong with lingerie? You walk around commando, Jasper. If you give me any more attitude. I'm telling Dad, you're a misogynist. You really want to test me right now. Don't you? The man's voice was laced with impatience. As their argument escalated, I hurried outside. It's okay. Really? There aren't that many boxes. I don't need this much help. I looked up to apologize to Carol's brother. I'm so sorry. Carol didn't explain what kind of shop it was. Before she dragged you over here. The words died in my throat. I was finally seeing his face clearly. Sharp, angular features. A handsome, commanding presence. Wore a dark brown jacket. And a wave of pure masculine energy seemed to roll off him. I forgot what I was going to say. The memory from 4 years ago hit me like a tidal wave. Knuckles tangled in my hair. The corded muscles of his forearms. The deep, ragged sound of his breathing. It was shocking how vividly I remembered every single detail. Fine, whatever. If you don't want to help, then just leave. Don't stand there scowling at us like we're begging you. Carol huffed, linking her arm through mine. Don't apologize to him. He's been gone for years and came back with zero manners. The man stepped in front of us, blocking our path. His gaze was locked on me. I fought to control the storm raging inside me and met his eyes. Feigning a calmness I didn't feel. He cleared his throat. Where's the merchandise? What merchandise? You said you needed help moving boxes. Where are they? Jasper took off his jacket, revealing a plain black t-shirt. Underneath was incredibly strong. The heavy boxes seemed like toys in his hands. He could carry 4 or 5 at a time. With him there, Carol and I were instantly rendered useless. Decorative bystanders. Carol sat on a stool, sipping a bubble tea and scrolling through her phone, happily directing her brother's labor. I hid in the stockroom, pretending to be busy with inventory. My mind in turmoil. I couldn't believe Nelly's father was my best friend's brother. Did he remember me? Probably not. It had been so long. My chaotic thoughts were interrupted by a deep voice. That's everything from out front. Oh, thank you. The cramped stockroom felt even smaller with his presence filling it. I took a step back. Knocking something off a shelf. Before I could react, he bent down and picked it up. You dropped this. In his hand was a black bunny-eared bra. The delicate straps dangled from his fingers. A bizarrely harmonious match for his black shirt. I remembered with a jolt that I had been wearing. My face burst into flames. His eyes fixed on mine, seemed to darken. Leaned in closer. You seem afraid of me. Why? My breath hitched. Our eyes met and there was nowhere to run. My brain short-circuited. Carol said you hit women. I blurted out. Not waiting for a response. I squeezed past him and bolted from the room. Carol, hearing the commotion, wandered over. Hit women? Which son of a bitch dares to hit a woman? Jasper's expression grew even darker. You keep talking and I might actually make an exception for you. Thanks to Jasper, the work was done in record time. A job that would have taken me until 8 was finished by 4. Carol, not wanting to impose any longer, started to drag Jasper away. But he stood his ground. Perfectly at ease amidst the racks of lace and silk. The owner's so cheap she won't even buy us dinner. My cheeks flushed. Of course I'll treat. What would you like to eat? Carol's eyes went wide. Jasper. Have you no shame making my friend buy you dinner? What kind of man are you? You pick the place. I'll pay. Now. That's more. Like it. Carol was finally satisfied. She hooked her arm in mine and whispered. My brother's actually loaded. So it's rare to see him open his wallet. Think of something good and don't hold back. Whether by chance or by design. The place she chose was right next to the bar, where Jasper and I had first met. Neither Jasper nor I were big talkers. Thankfully, Carol was there to fill the silence, making things less awkward. But I could feel Jasper's gaze on me the entire time. An intense, undisguised heat. Suddenly, my phone rang. Carol immediately leaned over to see the screen. Is that Nelly? I haven't seen her in ages. I miss her so much. Across the table, the man's expression shifted, becoming unreadable. I stepped outside to take the call. As I left, I heard his low voice ask. She's married. Jasper's question immediately set Carol off. What? What's that supposed to mean? A woman can't have a kid unless she's married. You're such a dinosaur. So she's not married. Jasper's posture relaxed back into its former casualness. He leaned back in his chair, took a sip of tea, and the corner of his mouth curved up. Good. Not married is good. So have you met the guy? What's his story? Carol stared at him, her expression growing stranger by the second. Bro, I gotta be honest. Your glee is a little too obvious. Just because you can't be happy doesn't mean you can drag everyone. Else down with you, right? Jasper frowned. Carol forged ahead. When Ava comes back, do not bring up Nelly's dad. I think the reason she hasn't dated all these years is because she's still hung up on that scumbag. At that, the smile on Jasper's face slowly faded. I waited until their sibling squabble died down before rejoining them. I'd never told Carol the full story about Nelly's father. For one, Nelly was already born when we became friends. For another, I never thought I'd see him again. So what was the point? I'd vaguely mentioned that I couldn't get in touch with him after I found out I was pregnant. Carol had clearly filled in the blanks herself, painting him as a love M and leave M villain. Out of respect for my feelings, she never pushed for details, which led to this incredibly awkward situation. As much as I hated deceiving my best friend, I couldn't bring myself to reveal Nelly's parentage just yet. I didn't know Jasper. If things went sour between us, it could ruin my friendship with Carol, too. Later that night, Carol and I had a few more drinks. Jasper volunteered to be our designated driver. As the car headed north, Carol pressed her face against the window. Wrong way, wrong way. Ava's place is in the other direction. I'm dropping you off first. I have to go out later. I'm not heading home. Carol pouted. If I'd known you weren't going home, we wouldn't have let you drive. Ava and I could have found another spot for round 2. Jasper shot her a look but said nothing. He pulled up smoothly in front of the Finley house. Carol got out reluctantly. The thought of being alone with Jasper was unnerving. So I started to get out, too. My place isn't far from here. I can just grab a cab. If you have plans. You don't have to bother. It's no bother. It's on the way. Carol nodded. Exactly. Just let him drive you. It's not like he's got anything important to do this late at night. Anyway. Arguing further would just make it weird. So I accepted. Where? To the Happiness Avenue apartments. Glanced at me in the rearview mirror. A hint of a smile in his eyes. Didn't you want a round too? I can take you now. No. No. Carol was just kidding. I said politely, thank you both so much for today. You were a huge help. Acting like strangers. Are we, or have you forgotten? Have you forgotten? The question hung in the air, heavier than the humidity of the impending storm outside. The streetlights flickered across Jasper's face, illuminating the sharp jawline I traced with my fingertips 4 years ago. I haven't forgotten anything, I whispered, gripping my purse strap until my knuckles turned white. Especially not the part where you gave me a fake number and vanished off the face of the earth. Jasper slammed the brakes. The SUV screeched to a halt at a red light, jarring us both forward. He turned in his seat, his brow furrowed in genuine confusion. Fake number? What are you talking about? The note on the nightstand. I called it for weeks. It was dead, Jasper. Just like whatever I thought we had. He stared at me, his eyes searching mine for deceit. Slowly, a realization seemed to dawn on him, morphing into a look of pained frustration. He ran a hand over his face. Ava, I was deployed to a black site. We were compromised within 48 hours. My gear, my personal phone, everything was destroyed. I spent 6 months in a dark hole with no comms. My heart stuttered. You didn't ghost me. I came back, he said, his voice dropping to a rough growl. I went to that bar every night for a month. The bartender said he didn't know your name, just that you were the girl with the sad eyes. I didn't know where you lived. I didn't know your last name. It's Finley, I breathed. Carol talks about you constantly. How did you not put it together? Carol calls you, She never uses your full name around me. And I've been overseas for the last 3 years. The light turned green, but he didn't move. He leaned closer, the scent of leather and rain overwhelming my senses. I didn't leave you, Ava. I lost you. The revelation hit me with the force of a physical blow. He hadn't played me. But looking at his intense gaze, I realized the danger hadn't passed. It had just changed shape. If he knew I hadn't been a fling, if he found out about Nelly. Take me home, Jasper, I said, my voice trembling. Please. He studied me for a second longer, sensing the wall I was frantically rebuilding, then shifted gears. Fine. But this isn't over. The next week was a blur of anxiety. I expected Jasper to bang on my door, but he was smarter than that. He infiltrated. It started with the shop. I walked in on Tuesday to find the squeaky hinge on the front door silent. The heavy boxes in the back were stacked with military precision. By Thursday, he was there when I opened up, leaning against the counter with 2 coffees. Black, 2 sugars, he said, sliding a cup toward me. That's how you drank it the morning after. I ignored the heat rising in my cheeks. I have work to do, Jasper. I'm here to help. Carol said you're short-staffed. Carol has a big mouth. He didn't leave. Instead, he made himself indispensable. He charmed the older customers, carried stock, and stood like a silent sentinel whenever a rowdy group of men walked past the window. But every time I looked up, his eyes were on me, calculating, hungry, and confused. He was trying to figure out why I was keeping him at arm's length. The problem was Nelly. My mom had her for the week, extending their trip at the old house, but they were due back Sunday. I was living on borrowed time. You're tense, Jasper noted on Friday afternoon, cornering me in the stockroom. The space was too small for a man of his size. You jump every time your phone rings. Who are you afraid is calling? The husband. I never said I had a husband. Carol said you have a kid. Who's the father, Ava? He stepped closer, caging me against a shelf of silk robes. His hand came up, thumb brushing my cheekbone. Is he in the picture? Because if he is, he's doing a terrible job of protecting what's his. He's not around, I managed, my heart hammering against my ribs. Good, Jasper murmured, his gaze dropping to my lips. Then he won't mind if I do this. He kissed me. It wasn't gentle. It was a reclaiming, a searing reminder of the chemistry that had resulted in a life. For a moment, I melted, for years of loneliness evaporating under his touch. But then the bell over the door chimed. Mommy. We're home early. My blood turned to ice. I shoved Jasper back, stumbling into the main showroom. Nelly was there, holding my mother's hand, wearing her favorite dinosaur raincoat. Mommy. She let go of my mom and sprinted toward me. I scooped her up, burying my face in her neck, terrified to turn around. Who's this? Jasper's voice was low, devoid of the warmth it had held seconds ago. Slowly, I turned. Nelly squirmed in my arms, curious. Hi. I'm Nelly. Jasper froze. He looked at the child in my arms. He looked at her dark, unruly curls, his curls. He looked at the shape of her eyes, the stubborn set of her chin. He looked at me, and the color drained from his face, replaced by a shock wave of realization. The math was easy. 4 years. Nelly, Jasper said, the name sounding foreign on his tongue. He crouched down, bringing himself to eye level with her. Hi, Nelly. I'm a friend of your mom's. Nelly tilted her head. You look like me when I make a mad face. My mother, sensing the tension, stepped forward. Ava, who is this? This is Carol's brother, Mom. Jasper. My mother gasped. She knew the story. She knew the face. She grabbed Nelly's hand. Nelly, come look at the new ribbons in the window. As they moved away, Jasper straightened up. The air around him crackled with a terrifying energy. He didn't yell. He didn't throw things. He was deadly silent. My office, I whispered. We walked into the back. As soon as the door clicked shut, he spun on me. 4 years, he rasped. You let me think I was just a one-night stand. You let me think I was broken. Broken? The injury, he snapped, pacing the small room like a caged tiger. The shrapnel. The doctors told me I could never have children. I mourned that future, Ava. I sat in the dark and mourned the family I'd never have. And the whole time, she was right here. I didn't know. I cried, tears spilling over. I called the number. I thought you abandoned me. And then the rumor started that you were hurt, that you were shooting blanks. I thought if I told you, you'd think I was lying, or worse, that you'd resent her for being a miracle you didn't want. He stopped pacing. He looked at me, his chest heaving. Resent her. She's the only good thing I've ever done. He slumped against the doorframe, the fight draining out of him. Does she know? No. She just knows her daddy is a soldier who had to go away. Jasper looked up, his eyes wet. I'm not going away again. Keeping the secret from Nelly was hard, keeping it from Carol was impossible. We decided to break it gently. Jasper wanted to get to know Nelly before dropping the "I'm your dad" bomb. He started coming over for dinner. Nelly adored him instantly. Biology was a powerful thing. They had the same laugh, the same way of furrowing their brows when concentrating on Legos. But Carol was suspicious. Why is my brother always at your house? She asked one night at the barbecue joint, stabbing a pickle aggressively. He hates kids. Or, he's bitter about them. He's actually really good with Nelly, I said, trying to keep my voice casual. It's weird, Ava. He looks at you like he wants to eat you, and he looks at Nelly like he would die for her. It's intense. Maybe he just likes us. Or maybe, Carol narrowed her eyes, you two are hiding something. The explosion happened 2 days later. Carol dropped by my house unannounced to return a casserole dish. She walked into the living room to find Jasper asleep on the rug, Nelly asleep on his chest, both of them breathing in perfect sync. The resemblance, in repose, was undeniable. Carol dropped the casserole dish. It didn't break, but the clatter woke them up. Carol. Jasper blinked, instinctively wrapping an arm around Nelly. Carol pointed a shaking finger at Nelly, then at Jasper, then at me. The scumbag, she whispered. The guy from the bar. The emergency deployment. Her eyes went wide. You're the deadbeat dad. I wasn't a deadbeat, Jasper growled, sitting up carefully so as not to disturb Nelly. I didn't know. You. Carol turned to me, her face red. And you. My best friend. You let me trash him for 4 years. You let me tell him he was infertile while his daughter was literally sitting in your lap. Carol, please. No. She stormed out. I can't believe this. My family is a soap opera and I'm the only one who didn't get the script. The rift with Carol was painful, but something darker was brewing. Jasper had been right about his past. The reason he was deployed so suddenly 4 years ago was to take down a cartel conduit. He had thought the threat was neutralized, but old enemies have long memories. It was a rainy Tuesday. Jasper had picked Nelly up from preschool, a routine they were both loving. I was closing up the shop. A black sedan idled across the street. I didn't think much of it until 2 men entered the boutique. They didn't look like customers. They wore heavy coats despite the mild chill, and their eyes were cold. We're closed, I said, reaching for the panic button under the counter. We're looking for Sergeant Finley, one of them said, locking the door behind him. We hear he has a soft spot for this place. And for the little girl. My blood ran cold. I don't know who you're talking about. Don't lie. We saw him pick up the kid. He pulled a knife, long, serrated, nasty. Call him. Tell him to come alone. I dialed Jasper's number, my hands shaking so hard I almost dropped the phone. Ava. His voice was warm. We're making pancakes. Nelly says you need. Jasper, I choked out. The shop. 2 men. They want you. The line went silent for a heartbeat. Then, a voice I had never heard before, cold, lethal, terrifying, spoke. Put the phone down, Ava. Do exactly what they say. I'm coming. The next 10 minutes were an eternity. The men smashed my display cases, terrifying me, waiting for their prey. Then, the back door, the one I always kept triple locked, exploded inward. Jasper didn't just enter, he was a force of nature. He moved with a speed that defied physics. He disarmed the knife wielder with a sickening crack of bone, spinning him into the glass counter. The second man went for a gun, but Jasper was already on him, a blur of rage and tactical precision. It was over in 30 seconds. Jasper stood over them, chest heaving, his knuckles bloody. He turned to me, the killer instinct fading from his eyes, replaced by pure terror. Ava, he rushed to me, checking me for injuries. Did they touch you? Did they hurt you? I'm fine, I sobbed, collapsing into him. Where's Nelly? Carol, he panted. I dropped her at Carol's. I told her to lock the doors and load her shotgun. The police came. The men were taken away, wanted fugitives, apparently. Jasper gave his statement, his arm possessively around my waist the entire time. When we finally got to Carol's house, the door was thrown open before we could knock. Carol stood there, Nelly safe in her arms. Mommy. Daddy. Nelly yelled. We froze. We hadn't told her to call him that yet. Nelly wriggled down and ran to Jasper, hugging his legs. Auntie Carol said you beat up the bad guys because you're my daddy. Jasper looked at Carol. My best friend, eyes red from crying, crossed her arms. Well, Carol sniffed. He is, isn't he? And if anyone is going to protect you 2 idiots, it's him. Jasper picked up Nelly, burying his face in her hair. Yeah, baby. I'm your daddy. Carol walked over to me and pulled me into a bone-crushing hug. I'm still mad at you. But, he really does look just like her. And hearing him panic on the phone, okay. I forgive you. But you're paying for my drinks for the next year. Deal, I laughed through my tears. Epilogue, the end of the line. 6 months later. The Finley name wasn't at its end, after all. We were at the same barbecue joint, but the mood was very different. The tables were pushed together. My mom was holding Nelly, who was wearing a Flower Girl t-shirt. Carol was making a toast, already 3 beers deep. I used to think my brother was a dud, she announced to the restaurant. Turns out, he's just a slow starter. Jasper rolled his eyes, his hand resting warm and heavy on my thigh under the table. He looked different now, less haunted. The edges of his war had been smoothed down by bedtime stories and school runs. He leaned in close to my ear. You know, he whispered, his voice sending that familiar shiver down my spine. The doctor said Nelly was a miracle. A 1 in a million shot. She is, I smiled, looking at our daughter. But, Jasper grinned, a wicked glint in his eye, I went for a checkup last week. Turns out, miracles can happen twice. The doctor said I'm fully healed. I stopped breathing. I looked at him. Jasper. He pulled a small velvet box from his pocket. But instead of opening it, he simply held my hand. I missed the first 4 years, Ava. I'm not missing a single second of the rest of our lives. Marry me. Let's give Nelly that sibling she's been asking for. I looked at Carol, who was loudly cheering for the ribs. I looked at Nelly, who was covered in sauce and happy. I looked at the man who had come back from the dead to find me. Yes, I whispered, pulling him in for a kiss that tasted like beer, barbecue sauce, and forever. Let's make some more miracles.